Hi guys, AJJM here. Now, I so far out, was this part 5 or part 6? I can't tell, of our Destiny playthrough slash design walkthrough. Essentially, we're going to go through the core loop today, and this is where we get over the plot and the story and the stuff that I've been whinging about for the last 5 episodes or whatever, and we get into why these games sold well. So we've just gotten our light back and proved that we're not particularly special. And obviously that's our cue to enter multiplayer. Which is interesting because in the first video we saw one other level 1 person running around in the very first sequence with us too. So I don't know whether that was a glitch or not. Anyway, so this is essentially the second half of our core loop. The core loop is go and do the mission or the strike or whatever, come back and equip the new weapons. And we've already got some new stuff to do that with. Which is why we got new stuff before we went to the shard. So we can get used to doing that. We can go, yep, this is part and parcel. Alrighty, let's go and see Hawthorne, see what's going on there.
Look at you. You got your light back. I don't know how you did it, but I'm glad. Because we're gonna need it. There are a lot more survivors out there, and they need our help. We gotta get the word out that the farm is a safe haven. I sent a friend into the EDZ a few hours ago to set up a comm network. His name's Devram Kay. Good guy. Great shot. Don't tell him I said that. If you give him a hand, I'd take it as a personal favor.
One line of dialogue about getting your light back. I mean, that's a bit how you going. Not that I expected more. Sorry, we shouldn't be complaining about that. So yeah, now you've got more loot to switch out. And you can get that loop going nice and quick. I've honestly forgotten the control for getting rid of it though. It's interesting you've only got one choice for your upgrade point here. I don't know if that's just because I've got the trial version at the moment. Until I get up to level 20, and if these videos take off I might buy the actual one, but we'll see. So I don't know if I have to get that one or if that's the normal progression. So no, as I go away here, as I leave, after checking out Lewis, Hawthorne goes, "Hey, come here," or something like that. "Hey, you."
I'm here. Yes?
And then I go back. And it's weird, I don't know why, but it's a good example of, yeah, I mean, that's not very sassy and control. That's what I'm talking about the last few videos, the dialogue, the difference between the cutscene and dialogue. Alright, let's go talk to Tyra.
The dreams have changed, and now I know why. Truly, the Traveler has chosen you. Your light shines brighter than ever. As a Guardian, my calling has always been as historian, not warrior. And I will ensure your great deeds will never be forgotten. I don't need light to record your deeds. For a while more, at least. Make no mistake, my friend. We are living through history. And the burden of legacy falls on you.
Oh yeah, I believe you.
We are the scattered people of a fallen city. You are our last and only hope. Be brave, Guardian.
Okay, so there's a bit of dialogue there which ties in with the story. Except we need to talk about this. This is the last bit of lore really to talk about, is you are our last and only hope. Whereas there's another 20 people running around. And that's not okay in, like, quote unquote the current year. Like, that's the storytelling used for vanilla WoW and that kind of stuff, and you want to be better than that. You need to be better than your competitors. You need to come up with a reason. In number 1 there was a reason, so at least try and do as good as that, at least try and provide as much emphasis as that. Also interesting that your ship isn't floating there anymore. I wonder if it comes back. So yeah, welcome to the EDZ. I'm not going to say EDZ because I'm not American. So this is where we start getting into our base loop, which is talk to an NPC, get a quest, go and kill the people, kill a sub-boss, come back. Sometimes it's select a strike icon from that overworld screen instead of talking to an NPC, but what you do is the same. From what I understand, some of the strikes are recycled story missions, so still a bit how you're going, isn't it? Alrighty, let's drop in. See what we've got. Oh, cutscene. Hang on, let's listen to this. I do like the scenery.
Don't get cocky now that you've got your powers back. The EDZ is rough, especially around the Old Town. Just remember, refugees from the city have it a lot rougher. You want to help them? Find Devrim Kay.
Well, see, the thing is, I think, like, I don't understand why you're differencing you from the refugees. They're all struggling in the middle. I guess they just have less combat experience? Is that what makes it rougher? I mean, obviously you're immortal again, but, you know, since when does that make much of a difference, really? Also, yeah, I'm loving these loading screens. They're good. I think they're getting a bit shorter, though. Alright, so here we go. And first off, got to point out the colours are excellent. I'm loving the yellow spotlights around the church. They are in other places as well, but coming out from those big church windows and stuff, it's very go here. And your placement through the map is nice, those breaks in the wall. Oh, hello! Like, the way you move through those is very fluid. Hello there, enemy dropping. And so this is where I immediately get distracted, which I think the game wants you to do at some point, because this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to just go and kill people at random. Then I go, oh no, I can revive them. That's right, the skulls don't mean they're high level. Yeah, no, then I forget, and I think I'll die fairly soon. From memory. But yeah, I do. It's obviously, like, you start getting into world-breaking stuff where all their ships are consistently dropping off troops in squads of 4 or 5. So it's got the same thing as Mass Effect Andromeda had, where it doesn't feel like you're fighting an army. There we go, I got hit with a drop pod. Wait, why did I get hit with a drop pod? Oh, because there's 2 types of enemy. Okay, no, that makes sense. There's Fallen and Cabal. Yeah, I'm with it, I understand. But yeah, the same sort of problem as Mass Effect Andromeda, where you're meant to be fighting this army, this organised force, and you end up fighting squads of, 4 or 5. But now this is cool. I'm already distracted. And now they're doing something more than just throwing a squad at you. And you go, oh, hello, what's this? This is an event. And I think that's nice. I'm glad that I can see it pop into the world and it makes an effect. Like, that's good. This thing exists outside, well, not really outside of the event, but it actually has an intro and an outro. So yeah, I still haven't done the mission because this is fun. This is what you're meant to do. This is the fun bit. And we will talk about the guns and the gunplay and stuff soon. But yeah, I mean, obviously the world-breaking stuff is if they've got ships, why aren't they bombarding you? With just going, okay, let's just go plop, plop, plop and destroy the church. But, I mean, this is part of more of the standard call it. This isn't meant to be a big story element or something to focus on. This is obviously just background for Pew Pew Pow Pow. And now we should probably talk about the Pew Pew Pow Pow. The sound design, step 1, because a lot of people don't talk about it that much. The sound design on these guns is really well done. Like, they're not the meatiest, Vietnam M60 sound designs or anything like that, but each of the firearms has a slightly different pop and ting to it, which gives you a really good piece of feedback. Obviously, firing the hand cannon sounds a lot nastier than firing this little, level 1 assault rifle or whatever it is, and I think that comes across quite well. The way you reload and your animations and that kind of stuff, oh, hello, collectible. I forgot about these, I forgot they exist, is really cool, because each one of them has little snaps, and you'll see that next time we reload. Also, the little recoils to headshots are nice. The numbers pinging off the enemies, that's, I don't know, should we talk about that? Numbers pinging off enemies is just a feel-good thing. Yeah, it's a glass panel there, nice. Look at all the damage you're doing, look at the headshots you're doing, oh, keep hitting there. It's just a feel-good response thing. It's more standard in games, and it's very standard in MMOs actually. If you even think back to like classic RuneScape, your little numbers popping up above the enemy's head, same thing. But yeah, so stuff like the reload animations and that kind of stuff, they have points where they're smooth, and then points where they snap. So the clip, gets rammed home, and then the gun curves back to its normal position. Obviously, and also, yeah, there we go, so it rams in, and then the gun sort of curves back as you finish cocking it. Also, just looking at the detail on this, the bolt extraction chamber and the bolts moving back, sorry, just the extraction chamber in the bottom moving back, is quite nice. And I don't know if it exists in every gun because I haven't tried every gun, and obviously this is a AAA game, so it's got the budget to do this. That's kind of the point. But yeah, seeing that attention to detail put into the weapons is excellent because it helps you feel like you're holding a real thing. Which obviously then contrasts to you flinging around a magic shield, but that's okay. Because the gunplay is what you're doing 90% of the time, and that needs to feel good. You know, that needs to feel quote-unquote real. So I do like how easy these are to get into as well, because it means that you and other players don't have to stress or think about the fact that you're with other players at the moment, which is a big thing that knocks multiplayer down. As the zero punctuation. Yahtzee always says playing with other players is tragic, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, but in this case it's not too bad because you don't have to be particularly drawn to that fact. You could be doing it alone if you were high enough level, and that's the best part. It doesn't rely on that. It just helps quite a lot, and you don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to do anything. You just shoot enemies, and you're being part of the team. No one has to be the one that, as far as I know, holds down the button and doesn't do anything. No one has to break gameplay. Oh yeah, bullet impacts and little bits of recoil. The puffs of smoke with the bullet impacts as well as the sparks. It's nice. It gives you that little hint. And I'm just going to go and try with this one as well. Look at the difference in recoil and difference in style of weapon there. And you get, because it's meant to be an energy weapon that depletes shield, you get the energy from the lines, the line renderers behind that. Another cool thing about the shotgun is the recoil. Aside from the fact that it's a shotgun and they have recoil, it emphasizes its close range capabilities only, not just through damage drop-off, but through the fact that if you tried to fire it twice at an enemy at long range, you won't hit the next shot for quite a while, because you have to let it cool back down. But yeah. See, this is nice. It's nice that for some of your semi-automatic rifles like that, you can really see the punch. And you see the punch well before the recoil pulls you away. With the pistol, it doesn't really matter. But with some of the rifles and stuff, you see the punch of the bullet, and then you recoil. So you can see whether you need to aim higher or lower before you have to deal with anything else. And the hand cannon is just, you've got your, because it's not really reliant on long range, you put your sights on the thing and you click and it goes boom. And it fits well with that, because as soon as you fire, the thing is hit and your recoil's begun. So the patterns inside the church are nice. I do like the colour scheme in here. Very, very bohemian. Right, let's talk to this guy.
Here I have no tea to serve. These are dire times indeed. Devon Kay, the 8th, at your service. City militia, back when there was a city. Now I serve at the pleasure of my dear friend Soraya Hawthorne. First on the docket, contact other refugees and tell them of the farm. That means building a comm network from the ground up. And even though I happen to be a damn good shot, the Fallen are giving me a devil of a time. I dare say you can handle a few rounds with the enemy. I've seen what Guardians can do. Right. I think it's time to let the guns do the talking now. Don't you?
Okay, so obviously faction rewards, faction stuff. It's all cool. It's literally just different types of get loot. But let's talk about the fact that I'm British, trademark. Oh, a cup of tea? Oh no, you know, all that kind of, I don't know what accent that was. But that's all just a bit how you're going. And here's the tough choice, right? Is that a character? Because it has more character than the other NPCs we've seen. But it's also just, look, I've got British mannerisms, but exaggerated. Like, is that a better character or is that a worse character? I don't know. Also, yeah, so this is the same symbol that we saw in front of the shard. That's cool. Same Fallen, same group, same rough area. Yay. Continuity. Also, did that banner just ripple because I shot it? If so, that's cool. But it might have just been the wind. How much faith do I have that it was the intentional, not just the wind? So yeah, with the long range gun, I can see each shot connect before the recoil, which means I know how to adjust. Which is exactly what you need to do with a long range gun like that. I'm not sure how many chests we've seen before. I know there was one or two. But yeah, so this is a fairly good, you know, sort of slow burn into what each different type of mission you're going to get is. I think from memory I mess up trying to find this symbol for a while, because I can't actually see a marker on the map at that point. I can see it when I turn away, but whenever I look at the church, for some reason I just don't pick it up for a while. But yeah, so going through treasure chest, and then running into a sub-boss, and then slowly moving further and further away from this home base is a nice slow progression of the core loop. But essentially we've already done it. We've already done the core loop right there. We've gone to an objective and done a thing.
I believe your city hunters must have put them here and there about the region as they scouted around. I think they meant it to mark something special.
Press F to do the action thing and shoot the bad guys on the way. And when they arrive, while the action thing is loading, of course. So you can defend yourself from some waves. But I think now we're going to get into the final, well, not final, but you know, this is our expansion of that to the sub-boss, where we learn exactly what every other mission is going to be from this point out. And I keep saying that like it's a bad thing. Yes and no. It does what it does well, there's just not a lot of it. Also, it's faded blue and rust instead of blue and orange, isn't that nice? With the white concrete accents over the top, just like the city. So instead of blue and orange, it's blue and rust. Aww. I think in a later video we might break down the actual world here, like that's been built around it. But for now I just wanted to talk about things going peel, and what you actually do when things are going peel. Also the melee feels good. I know I've talked about how mechanically good it is before so far, but it feels good to sort of see that impact and watch the screen ripple a little bit. And as you're going, I do like the fact as you're going through, obviously you go down, and that does give you the natural height advantage, which means you can feel like a predator coming in. And it's only when you're fighting the boss, really, that the boss now has a height and area advantage on you, whereas you're sort of trapped in here with these lower, you know, underlings coming around at you. The boss is up there, raining on you. So that's well done, that's well designed. That gives you that sense of threat, and it also mechanically provides it. Whether that's something you're consciously thinking about or not, it's there and it's doing a thing, and that thing makes your life harder. So I think this guy gives me more trouble than any of the earlier ones, which is good. You're progressing, that's what's meant to happen. But yeah, I think one of the best things that complement this sort of fairly solid gunplay, and I think it is solid. It's executed well and it does its job. There is no fancy trick aside from the fact that you've got a heavy weapon and an energy weapon. But it does that well. And I think the thing that really makes that shine is the way enemies react, is the way that, you know, the little headshots cause them to bop in. Oh, hang on, did we get him? No, we didn't. Okay. I was gonna say that didn't look right. Oh, here he goes on our level now, ready to see if we can't melee him. Actually, he makes me not want to melee. He's the first enemy I don't feel comfortable meleeing. I have to use the shotgun, which is good. He should be an enemy I don't want to go and hit punch in the face. But the way enemies react in general, like the way the heads flicker and the way they dart in and out of cover, I've talked about very briefly mentioned how annoying it is before, but it serves the purpose well and it makes you feel the pace of each piece of combat. Now we're gonna close out the footage here. But before I head off, and yeah, essentially we're just going to head back to the guy and then go on our next mission. But before I head off, I want to sort of push on a bit further talking about that. Because that's one of the main things that, you know, is going to drive the way you interact with the world, is the way things react when you shoot them. Because that's the only thing you can do in this game. Oh, and you can hit them with swords, sorry. I forgot all about that. But the way that they react to that is very, very important. And as I've already said 400 times, that part is done well. But not just reactions to your gunfire, but to your position. You'll hopefully note in the last fight that even the dregs are sort of trying to outmaneuver you and, you know, push behind and flank. Cabal do the same thing with stuff like grenades and just flying over you and encircling you. And it's super, super important that, you know, the enemies do stuff like that. So that even though you're doing the same action, the environment, and when I say environment, I mean the enemy agency within that environment as well, is changing around you enough so that as you're repeating that action, you're doing so in different ways or looking different directions with different speeds, different tempos. Note that a lot of the fallen enemies we've encountered so far are slightly off tempo. So humans have a natural time in which they react to things. We will have a natural time in which we'll wait before, for example, we think someone's going to jump out of cover, or we'll have a natural time that we wait until we think someone's forgotten or something, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And a lot of these enemies act outside that tempo, which keeps it fresh, because mentally it keeps you on your toes in a way that, you know, a lot of other games don't. And it stops you finding that rhythm immediately. It takes time. And that's one of the ways that you feel like you begin to master Destiny as a game, is you start to understand its rhythm and learn how to, you know, repeat your actions within the allocated spots in that rhythm to kill bad guys. Anyway, that's all for today. Apologies, there wasn't a lot of complaining this time, just a lot of talk. I promise I'll find something to complain about soon, when we decide instead of using any weapons, we're just going to use a pike we found a little bit too early and make everything quite easy. Anyway, that'll be next video. If you liked this video, press the like button. That's a 1-to-1 correlation. It's amazing, right? Anyway, I'll see you later.